the wrong introduction for the wrong channel. Sorry, I was about to introduce my other channel. Hello, Internet. Well,
Welcome to
the International Writing Fellowship. I was with clients less than 10 minutes ago. I'm completely on board. I know what I'm doing. Welcome to the IWF. Daniel Hand here, chair of this August body, joined as ever by co-founder Jen from Jane's Dreamy Bookshelf and one of the latest members, Amber of Robots and Magic. Hi all. No idea where Gary is. Maybe he'll join us, maybe he won't. Man has one or two things going on at the moment. And Erica, I believe, is on the school run at the moment, and so will join us as and when life allows. Like life and children allow, which, let's face it, might mean in 10 years' time. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's day been?
Pretty good. I can't believe it's already 4 o'clock. It's crazy.
So far, I have my sick cat in here, so if you see me looking around puzzledly, I'm just trying to make sure she's entertained.
Your volume is a little low, Ember. Sorry to interrupt you.
Don't worry. I have to have this thing so close to my face. Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Anyway, I've got a cat here.
I can hear you. Yes, I can. It's right in front of my face. I'm fine.
Ha!
Oh, God.
Sorry.
No.
Can probably up the mic sensitivity. See, it's just following me through, Jen. This is my day today.
Yes, I know.
No one can hear me.
Boo. They need to hear
Screaming
you.
into the void of the internet.
Can anyone hear me?
Can anybody?
So, yeah, anybody had a good day, or has it just kind of disappeared?
I had a
That's
great day because I got this. In the mail.
Oh, okay.
It's the signed Amy Brown journal.
Which
And it has tons of goodies inside of it. Look at these bookmarks. Stickers.
I'm jealous.
I mean, I'm just in heaven. And I ordered some prints.
Oh, Erica's here as well. Oh my goodness me, you ordered those as well. Gee.
Well,
hello, Erica. How was the school run?
hi, Erica.
Hi.
I'm just showing my Amy Brown stuff.
They're gorgeous. I have her website pulled up, like, because I need more things. So
Look at this journal. Like, look at the tabs.
That is stunning.
Yeah.
I have something you might like even more, Erica. It's not a competition, I know, but
Well, yeah, why are you trying to distract her from Amy Brown?
this arrived for me today.
Oh, that is fantastic.
That's rad.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's a gem. It's gemstone. It weighs a ton. You throw this at somebody, they die. It's.
Oh, please don't throw it.
I mean, seriously, it comes with a little pouch that you can hook onto your belt.
That is awesome.
Sorry, I just wanted to show Erica that way I can put it back. So go on, Jen. You can carry on with your thing. It's just it was sitting on the table because otherwise I'd forget to show it. And now but it was in the way, so I need to.
Yes.
So carry on.
Oh, it's okay. I was pretty much done. So.
Jane, what was that? The deck that you did 2 days ago. Which one of those was hers? Which one was it?
Oh, so I did the fairy. I did this one. It's not hers, but this one is.
Okay.
Why don't we do that one now, being as you've got it down?
Well, then I also have this one of hers.
Oh, Erica, you've met a dangerous group of people, I think, haven't you?
I mean, I seriously probably have like 30 or 40 Oracle decks in my office. It's ridiculous.
Well, what's a few more then?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And fairies are beautiful.
Yes, they are.
So go
yeah,
on.
I can do.
Yep, grab it.
Which one?
One of those.
We'll do this one.
Because no, why can't you do both?
I mean, we could. We really could.
Sorry, how's your day been, Erica, as well? I've asked everybody else. How's yours been? Sorry.
Do what?
How's your day been? Sorry, I've asked everybody else. How about you?
It has been eye-opening because I have been editing something that I wrote the very beginning of my novel series in October of 2020, and it took me like 3+ hours to go through what ended up being 1,800 words. And it had good bones, but it's going to need a lot of decoration.
So now you know how we feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was asking if she could have a cookie. Yes.
Only if I can have one.
They may not be good by the time they got to you, though.
Hey, it's a cookie.
But it was good. It was a good day.
Good. I was just telling. I finished with the client 15 minutes ago, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can enter the real world and have a fully adult conversation about other stuff. Completely.
It's a hard pivot.
Yeah.
Go on then. What do the spirit guides have for us?
What do they have for us today? Let's see. Ooh, moon dragon.
Oh my goodness me.
It's kind of hard to see, sorry. And then my
I
camera's
apologize
flickering.
for your beautiful card.
Oh.
All right, let's see what this means. Number 13. Keyword emotions. Mistress Moon can make the tides rise and fall, and with them, your emotions. Sometimes these emotions can be lambs, and sometimes they can be dragons. When the moon dragon comes to visit, simply invite her in and sit with her a while. Share a cup of fairy tea with her. Dwell in her space for a bit and feel her feelings. These feelings are neither bad nor good. They just are. Allow the dragon her voice and she will be appeased. It may help to write in a journal at such a time. Expressing all that is within releases the pressure of the moon tide. Much can be accomplished through simply sitting with the dragon and listening to what she has to say. Try it next time the moon has a hold over you. See how quickly you tame the dragon. Then all that energy can be put to a useful purpose for your highest good. We are humans with feelings, emotions, hormones, likes, and dislikes. We all have different things that appeal to us and different ways of looking at things. This really is a good thing. However, when emotions become riled, it's best to sit with them and sort them out. Emotions are trying to tell you something. Look at these emotions with honesty and explore what they are about. Get to the real source of your feelings. Keep asking why and saying, "Tell me more," until you have the full story. Take a deep breath and let the body relax and breathe easily. Ask Spirit for another way to look at the situation. Ask for balance in body, mind, and spirit. Breathe and be at peace. Ask for perfect solutions and be willing to let them come to you. Listen.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Show us the picture again, because that design of that dragon was, I love that.
So cool.
And this is Amy Brown as well.
Yeah.
I haven't got the book here. My favorite ever dragon. It's on the cover of the Earthsea Quartet by Ursula K. Le Guin. It looks more like a fish. It looks like it's going to swim into the air rather than fly. But that gives that one a run for its money. That's a just beautiful design.
Yeah. So what do we all think about that?
I was just thinking I need to read that to my clients every single time they come into my office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good icebreaker too.
See, having heard that, because obviously that's the first time I think we've ever, well, certainly obviously us as a group have looked at that deck, but I don't think I've heard from that deck either. And I'm thinking, well, if that card's that good, what do the rest of them say? Because if the first card we pull out is that amazing, what's in the rest of it?
Yes. That is amazing.
I think you could have cost me more money.
Okay, which one is that? Because I think I was switching screens to look
That's
at.
the Fairy Wisdom Oracle.
Okay, that one. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, just look at the cover. Like,
yeah, the cover is gorgeous.
Did
This
she
is just
write
going to
those
become
two, or did somebody else write them?
her sister wrote them.
Oh,
I
that's
believe
so
it's her
sweet.
sister. Yeah.
I was looking to see if my book had a larger dragon illustration to show more of the like detail of how she does them. This is the only one I can find.
Yeah.
Mostly it's her fairies and other creatures. But yeah, I want to see like a big blown up version of that moon dragon now.
Yeah. So this is just going to become the Amy Brown fangirling club, isn't it?
It is.
Amy Brown, are you out there?
Yeah,
Join
please.
us.
Very nice. She does have a Patreon too, and she sends monthly goodies every month if you're interested.
I have a mortgage to pay.
I mean, this is some of the things. I swear, I'm not sponsored by her. But these are some of
Show them the clock.
My clock fell down. Oh, here it is.
Oh no. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
there's a flare. There we go.
Our fairies are so sweet.
Anyway, I digress.
No, I think we all digress.
For good reason.
Oh, yeah, it's just, yeah.
Anyway,
so that we appreciate the message of the card. How are we interpreting it for us, or as individuals, as writers, as a group of writers? How is it coming to us? Apart from, I've just realized my life is empty without that deck of cards. Jeez, don't.
It's such a deep message.
There was a lot there that I'm like, I don't want to talk about my hormones. I'm trying to find something that resonated that I feel safe sharing, like just into the void of the internet.
Okay. But I think the reaction we all had to it implies that we felt its message on a deep level, somehow, some way. That'll do.
Well, and I think that, I don't know, maybe this is the therapist in me coming out, but I think that we don't allow ourselves a lot of the time to feel our emotions because we're too busy. It's like, I don't have time for that. And, I think that that's a good reminder to sit back and just analyze and, okay, what exactly am I feeling?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been having that conversation with my 5-year-old when he's throwing like little tantrums. I'm like, you can just sit with the feelings. You don't have to thrash about and throw them out of your body. You can just sit and let them go. That's a lot for a 5-year-old to take in, though.
But it's a lesson that many people our age haven't yet learned. Hence why I'm so busy and Erica's so busy. But...
Well, and it's scary. It's scary to look that deeply at things. And then like how that kind of translates to writing for me is, the more that I write of Alana, the more I discover about myself. And sometimes it's things that are surface, and sometimes it's not, and I have to my therapist, Carol, and be like, okay, we need to have a session because something just came up.
Oh, really? So your writing has that big an impact on you?
This character does in general, just everything about her. And every time I revisit her, I learn something new. And
I find that fascinating because I've never had. I mean, I have characters I deeply love and deeply relate to. LIG. But no, never had somebody who's that. I could. I know I need to talk. I've written a paragraph today.
well, and also healing, like healing through her too,
Yeah.
has been huge. So
Just gushing over moon dragons and the emotional impact thereof, Gary, because just to give the conversation some context, but I imagine that won't have given you much either. So
It's all right. He who comes late deserves not to know what's going on.
okay, can't argue. Yeah, you see, I'm still very much in therapist mode, so I'm not gonna ask any of the questions that immediately come to mind. So I'm gonna let somebody else talk.
I might have to restart because I am frozen.
Not close, you're not.
Ah,
I can see you.
Yeah.
my whole browser's freezing up. I don't know what it is.
Oh no.
Okay,
Is
well,
it-
if I'm just like lagging, I'll just sit here for a hot second and listen.
Oh no, there's no point if you can't see us. It's really uncomfortable talking into the void. So I've had to do
I've
it.
done it all morning. All right, let me quit this thing and then come back. But I'll miss Gary's intro. Hi, Gary. Bye, Gary. I don't even know if I can close this thing. Okay.
It wouldn't be the internet
doing
if there weren't technical difficulties.
No, the first ever time I
Restart.
did a live stream, I had to do it to a black screen. I couldn't see the person I was talking to. And it was a stressful event anyway because we'd started 2 hours late because of technical difficulties. And it was like, yeah, no, this isn't stressful at all. So it's still up there. If you go to Dungeon Masterpiece, I talk to Baron Derop about RPGs and therapy. It's still there. So we don't have that many viewers today in comparison to the past few days. But then again, it's the weekday, so
They heard I was coming back, so they.
yeah. Oh yeah, of course you weren't. Were you here yesterday?
I was not here yesterday.
You're not here yesterday. Oh, in that case, you weren't part of the conversation, which means, haha, we're dropping this on you here and now.
I feel like that's something that happens to me at work all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. So yesterday we had an extremely interactive community yesterday, and it was put to us, and we actually thought it was a half decent idea that we might do a day of readings rather than sticking with the writing sprints. So if we'd like to get into that now, we've got 2 viewers. Hi, whosoever you happen to be. And we're about to do some readings. So shall we talk for a little while, or shall we just jump straight in? And if so, who's starting? As if I didn't fucking know.
I can start if you would like.
So what's the idea of the readings? Is it something we are currently working on? Something that's finished? Something?
Whatever you want, and
Dan just pulls off his bookshelf.
Can be. I haven't yet decided because I was going to ask you guys what you wanted. Because let's face it, I've got a fairly extensive back catalogue of different things. But no, Jen, if you'd like to go first, let's. I'm never going to turn that offer down. So yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm really nervous. That's why I want to go first so I can get it over with.
Do not be nervous. It is just reading a book to your friends. The fact that there are other people out there means nothing.
Right. Okay.
How many books have you narrated?
Yeah, but that's behind the scenes, and I can mess up as many times as I want and fix it.
They're not hers.
I'm perfect. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to read a short excerpt from my witch story, which is for the anthology that Dan and Gary and I are all doing. So here we go. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. Okay.
Don't be nervous, sweetheart. You're fine.
At the top of the hill, she spots the ruins of a small stone castle below, obscured by thick greens of ivy. Bryn approaches cautiously, sensing evil lurking nearby. The air is charged with negative current. She is unable to pin down its source. The darkness seems to close in from all around. The hawk gazes at her from a window slit in the gray-green tower before being startled into flight. She watches it fly away with a deep sense of foreboding as she realizes she is now on her own. She can't help noticing how still the air around her has become. No birds are chirping, no wind is blowing. The gate to the castle is closed, and when she tries to open it with magic, she's met with an angry hiss. She places her hand against a stone wall, letting it trail as she circles the castle until she finds a small opening on the south side where the wall has collapsed. It leads into a courtyard with a massive oak tree. The ancient, hateful tree has thick, crooked branches that snake out in every direction, some impossibly close to the ground. She swallows thickly and whispers a protection spell against the tree, aware that it has the power to kill her if it feels threatened. She crosses the threshold of the opening with some difficulty. Strong magic is at work here. The branches from the oak tree droop lower in her presence, as if preparing to enclose her and scoop her up. Vines made of ivy have infiltrated the walls of the courtyard and the ground, making it hard to move forward without tripping. She carefully steps around them as she begins to circle the tree. Bryn feels the hairs on the back of her neck rise. The sensation disorients her. Someone is watching me. She searches among all the dark, heavy green, and finally spots a pair of wide, cat-like eyes peeking out from her, from beside the trunk. Ivy. Bits of foliage hide her nakedness. She shimmers as if not entirely real. Bryn searches Ivy's face, struggling to bring her into focus, the tree shielding her image with its deep magic. She looks around the courtyard uneasily, sensing another presence. When she glances back, she is startled to find that Ivy has moved closer, within arm's reach, a gnarled branch the only thing separating the two of them. Her strange jade-colored eyes focus intently on Bryn. Her neck is adorned with a string of white seashells that contrast beautifully against her skin. Where did she get that necklace? Ivy finally speaks. You found the splinters. Bryn has an overwhelming sense that she should leave, now. Yet the wood nymph has shown no signs of aggression, not yet. Why would you do such a thing? Bryn asks. I need your magic. Once you help me, I will lift the spell from him, she says casually. Bryn's throat grows warm. The splinter spell is dangerous. He nearly killed me. There was no other way, Ivy says, her words cold. I don't know what you're playing at, but this ends now. Bryn's fingers grow hot, but she restrains her magic in front of the tree. It ends when you agree to help me. No, not like this. Bryn turns quickly as she senses someone coming up behind her. There's no one there. At least she can't see anyone. Only a shadow creeping along the courtyard, its image faintly resembling the shape of a man. The walls of the castle seem nearer than before, as if they are closing in on her. She whips her head back to find Ivy even closer. Her eyes lock onto hers. and her pupils dilate. Bryn is unable to break eye contact with her. Her limbs suddenly feel heavy, her feet rooted to the spot. I need your magic to leave the forest. You must break my bond with the oak tree and set me free. Ivy's words are soft, enchanting. Not this again. Your place is here in the forest. You can't leave, remember? We already tried. Ivy sighs. Her gaze lifts from Bryn's face and wanders around the courtyard. I have grown tired of my wooden cage. I can't break the spell that binds you. The tree will never let me. It will kill me first, like it killed my mother. I've tried to resist. I really have. You must believe me. For years, I've tried to suppress my desire to escape. You're my only hope, Ivy pleads. Where would you go? Bryn asks mockingly. I will go with the sea on a ship. Bryn nearly laughs at the absurdity. This is madness. You can't go on a ship. You will have nothing to protect you once you leave the forest, she says, trying to talk some sense into her. You must find a way for me. I've given my word. Given your word? To whom? Ivy doesn't answer, but her eyes flicker towards the shadow Bryn spotted earlier. Bryn goes cold. A deep horror spreads over her. No, no, no. What have you done? Where did you find that thing? I found him among the ruins of a wrecked ship. He gave me the spell. Mother of stars, help us. Bryn keeps her back towards the shadow man and begins to chant a returning spell. She must try to send this thing back where it came from. Words freeze against her lips as a strong wind blows her cape over her head and sends her stumbling forwards into Ivy. This will all be over when you agree to help me, Ivy says, shouting over the wind that whips around them, her hands painfully squeezing Bryn's arms. Bryn shakes her head violently. She feels the darkness hemming her in, suppressing her magic. She shakes off Ivy's grasp and heads for the opening in the wall, but her legs are heavy, as if she were walking through marshland. Ivy kneels and retrieves a bow tucked within the hole at the base of the tree and notches a green-tipped arrow. Her aim is precise. Bryn is powerless to block the spiteful thing from landing in her leg. She falls to the ground in pain. As her hand closes around the arrow, blood mixed with green poison trickles down her leg as she extracts the arrow. She holds it carefully with the tip pointed back towards Ivy. Only her words from a spell are needed to propel it back at her like a missile. A mangled cry splits the air as it grazes Ivy's cheek, leaving an angry red mark. Bryn feels the ground begin to shake as the roots of the tree emerge from the ground. The branches of the tree hurl small loose stones that rain down upon her. She quickly places her hand over her leg wound and seals the pierced skin with a spell. Time to leave. Bryn crawls out of the courtyard, dodging tree roots that have broken through the surface, clawing at her hands and feet. She struggles to continue, leaning heavily against the outer castle wall, burning pain quickly spreading through her body. Her vision begins to fade as the ground suddenly opens beneath her. Vines of ivy creep and climb up her arms and legs, halting her progress, pulling her down. Dirt and small stones begin to swallow her whole. The last thing she glimpses, before she's buried alive, is the hawk circling above in the light of the full moon.
That was awesome. Was that, how was that? Was that better than you were expecting, or?
No.
See, you did so well. Don't.
I blocked all your faces. I just have my document and I was like, just focus on reading.
Well, just change the browser over next time.
Yeah. Yeah. Or that too.
Although, you know, I mean, frankly, I'm surprised that you can manage my face at the best of times. So I love that story. And obviously Gary and I have heard that before, so we both know the setup and the payoff. How was that for the newer members?
Where, like, in the story does this happen? Like toward the beginning, middle?
It's towards the middle.
Yeah, it's almost
Yeah. So there
dead
is
center, I think, isn't
set
it?
up before that. Yeah.
Like, I want to know more.
I know. I just
Good.
want to keep reading now.
Yeah, 100%. It's because I think, was this the first time you'd tried with the first person present, as I recall? Because
Yeah, so towards the end of the story, I did switch to first person. So I haven't gone back to the beginning and middle to change all of that. So, but
because
yeah,
this was the story that helped Jen realize what her style was. It was awesome to see.
Mm-hmm.
What I found really interesting throughout that was watching people's reactions and how their facial expressions changed. I mean, Erica, you seemed emotional at one point. I don't know if that was just the camera or you seemed very, it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen?
So in like Adlerian, we have a temperament scale that's not Adlerian, but we use it. And as far like one of the subscales is intensity of reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And I am like, I've got zero poker face. Like you will know what I'm thinking and feeling by this. So I don't even try to hide it anymore because then I just look constipated and that's not fun for anyone.
I don't know. It could be funny. Cool. And so what's next for that story, Jen?
I need to edit it so we can publish it in our anthology.
Or so other people can read it right away.
Move it all to first person.
And move it all to first person. Yes.
Cool. Well, well done for getting through that, because that
Thank you.
I know you weren't looking forward to it, and
No,
I know
but I did it.
you did it. And
Thank you all for listening.
thank you. Thanks for taking the chance.
You did it with aplomb. I'm proud.
Well, yeah, well, that's just it. You did it amazingly, and you can tell that there's somebody in this group who narrates for a living, frankly.
Thank you, Tinnitus.
So who's next?
I can go.
Cool.
Gary.
What? Go Gary. Go Gary.
I'm going to read the first draft of what I've been writing this month.
So how long is that?
1,300 words.
Perfect. How long was that you read, Jen?
Let's see. I think it was about the same. Let me just check real quick. 1277. So
Almost
perfect.
exactly the same. Cool.
So this is tentatively titled The Mountain Temple.
And this is what you're currently working on for Nano.
Yes. So what I've written in the last 5 days. So.
I mean, and considering that you hadn't written anything for a good few years beforehand, the fact that you've written 1,000 words on a story is just like.
I mean, I did move, change countries, had a baby.
Nothing, I don't know what you're complaining about, frankly. I mean, Jesus, what, do you want a medal? Yeah, you fucking deserve one.
Okay, here we go. The Mountain Temple. Irina flipped through her notebook, looking for the glyph carved in the stone lintel above the door. She was sure she had seen this one before, a strange cat-like face with a set of numbers between the ears. Well, girl, the archaeologist hissed, is this the right passage? He stood a few paces from her, a look of intense concentration on his upturned face, one foot resting on a fallen plinth in what he must have imagined was a heroic pose. She flipped past a series of wolf-faced glyphs, a scorpion stabbing itself, and a lunar calendar. Aha! She glanced over at the still poised archaeologist, then whispered, yes, your grace, this is... Behold! He burst out before she could even finish. He flourished one hand up towards the large stone doorway and turned to look down at the gathered townspeople and workers that stood milling about the large chamber. This is the passage into the treasure chamber of the great sky people of antiquity. He made a subtle gesture to the foreman without breaking his pose. Sky people? Where did he get this stuff? Irina kept her expression neutral. The archaeologist did not like corrections, or any commentary, really. When there was an audience present, especially. She stepped to one side of the stone portal, fading into the background, as it were, while the workers lumbered forward with a variety of hammers, chisels, and pickaxes. Thankfully, there were no glyphs or carvings on the large stone blocking the doorway, though Irina flinched a little as a stray hammer blow shattered the edge of a vertical frieze framing the slab. Just a decoration, Irina. No need to get emotional. Just a perfectly preserved decoration from 1,000 years ago, unlike any we've run across so far. She forced herself to look away from the wanton destruction and focus on a series of glyphs that she hadn't noticed before, tucked behind a square pilaster. These images were not new, but their meaning was still difficult to pin down exactly. The culture that had created this chamber had an odd affinity for animal glyphs to represent normal everyday activities. A wolf might be used to represent a variety of concepts, such as the hunt, the lunar cycle, friendship, and death. Truth be told, there wasn't a single animal that did not have a glyph representing death for these people. They were peculiarly focused on death and seemed to have at least a dozen different words for it. One might even call it an obsession. Behold! The archaeologist's cry broke her concentration. A large stone crashed to the floor near one of the workers and rolled down a slope of fallen rock and vegetative decay of centuries. Several members of the crowd were forced to dodge out of the way of the tumbling door shard. The archaeologist did not even break his verbal stride and was going on about some sort of communication from the heathen gods that had led him to this place on this day. Irina had never considered herself a heathen god, but maybe after those long hours of research and digging which brought them here, she should think about upgrading her title to something grander than junior linguist. She blinked. Where was that archaeologist? Of course, he must have plunged straight into the doorway without looking. Again. She really hoped that this new section did not have any pits, falling rocks, or other traps. The man did not seem to recognize the importance of research and caution. She sighed. At least there wasn't any screaming. And he hadn't called, "Hey, girl," yet. Perhaps there was hope. The workers were waiting for her to pass through, one bright young man even holding a torch out for her to take. She wasn't sure if it was out of respect or fear of what lay beyond. Irina smiled in thanks, picked up the edge of her skirts, and ducked into the dusty opening. Here and there, chinks in the stone wall let in thin streams of light swirling with ancient motes of something, likely some type of fungal spores, knowing our luck. The dark hall twisted around square corners, back into the hillside behind the entrance chamber. After the sixth such turning, Irina could make out a shadowy figure at the end of a long, straight section. She held her torch up higher until the shape started taking on a decidedly archaeological nature. Of course, the man hadn't brought a torch. Excellent! The light has arrived. Took you long enough, my dear. I mean, really, do try to keep up. I've got a good feeling about this one. The archaeologist stood at the edge of a very large pit. I knew it. Though on closer inspection, it appeared that the floor of the next room had simply collapsed at some point in the distant past. Irina held up the torch high to get a better sense of the scale of the space. The sunken section did not cover the whole room, just the part nearest the tunnel. There was no bottom to the pit that she could see, and it was at least 20 feet to the other side. But looking around, she noticed a narrow ledge of barely 4 or 5 paces long connecting the tunnel along the right-hand wall to the rest of the room. Irina quickly found herself sliding along that ledge with her back to the wall, torch upraised, while the archaeologist shouted encouragement from the safety of the tunnel mouth. She breathed a quiet sigh of relief as the floor failed to collapse under her weight on the other side, brushing the back of her skirts to shake off the dust and grime of the ancient wall. Well, my dear, the entourage are sure to be here any moment. Do you see anything worth our time over there? Hurry now. Irina turned away from the pit, partially to do as he instructed and examine the room, but mostly so he wouldn't see her rolling her eyes. Now that her attention was not on the interminable fall into darkness, Irina was actually able to focus on the details around her. The room was not much larger than the last chamber, though it was far more intricately decorated. Every inch of the space was covered in glyphs, friezes, and reliefs of exquisite workmanship. Even the floor. She stepped carefully out of a depiction of an open maw full of razor-sharp teeth. The creature, a combination of bear and squid, seemed about to bite down on a group of humans tied together and wearing nothing but the ropes that bound them. Well, if that isn't creepy, she grunted. What was that? From out past the pit. Did you find anything? Not, she paused. Something had caught the light of the torch. One moment. A few paces away, the carvings on the floor began to swirl and joining towards a central pedestal. In the middle was a golden ball sitting in a shallow depression in the stone. All around the ball, carved into the pedestal, was every single animal representation of death that Irina had seen before, and several that she had not. Oh dear. She raised her voice to carry across the pit. I'm not so sure about... Oh, it's beautiful. It's exquisite. It's perfect. It's mine, came the archaeologist's tenor right beside her. Irina settled back to the ground and bit back several choice oaths. The man was lucky she hadn't smashed the torch over his full head. Your Grace, I don't think... Of course not, my dear. That's my job. Excellent work. This is precisely what we need. With that, he scooped up the ball before Irina could even extend a hand to stop him. The room did not collapse. Irina was actually a little surprised by the lack of collapsing. She gathered her wits to confront the man, but when she spun to tell him about the death glyphs, all she could see of him was his retreating backside on the other side of the pit, heading back down the tunnel to the entry chamber.
Gary, I think that may be the most Gary story you have ever written. That was you, man. That was down. Oh my god. I don't know where to start. That was so good.
I'm like picturing this guy as partially Goob, like adult Goob from Meet the Robinsons. And I don't know who else, but like that part of it is there.
You described him as somebody. Who was it, Gary, the other day?
Pictured him as if he was played by what's his name?
Bruce, somebody.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell, yeah.
Yeah. You're familiar with what's it? Night of the Living
With
Dead,
anything from the 90s.
Not Night of the Living Dead. Evil Dead. The Evil Dead.
Evil Dead, yeah. So just again, for people who haven't known Gary for 20 years, his stories tend to be two things: A, hilarious, and B, inevitably filled with dead people.
Yeah.
There's no dead people yet.
I take my hat off to you, sir. That was...
Allusions to dead people.
I love that. Go on, somebody else talk. That was just awesome. Everybody to a listener went, or when he reached for that ball, everybody. I was like,
I'm self-conscious now. Stop watching me.
sorry, I can't help it. Sorry. I do this for a living. Sorry, I'll stop. I'll change tabs.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's interesting to see what you see because I have to like go into my head so that my brain doesn't go off in 500 directions. So I totally don't know what I'm doing with my face. I'm like Erica, like no poker face.
I'm not playing poker, so you don't have to worry.
I'd be rubbish at it.
Go on, Jen. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So was that the opening of the story, Gary, or where are we at in the story?
That's the opening.
Okay, it's a great opening. I mean, it's a great introduction to the characters, and the guy's such an ass, but it's so funny. I just love it.
Yeah. It feels very pulpy. I mean, it feels like your proper Indiana Jones before Indiana Jones kind of thing. It's just adventure story before it was modernized, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And which world is this set in? Is this set in the same one as?
Yeah, this is the shared world.
That makes me happy.
So it'll be in the anthology. Yay.
or the spin-off,
Or
depending.
the spin-off. Yeah.
Side note: we might have to see if we can get Ember and Erica to write stuff for a subsequent book.
I'm just like, when is this anthology coming out?
Well, don't ask that question.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
We've known each other for 20 years, but it's like that, and it still hasn't come out yet. So
Well, we haven't been working on it for 20 years.
true. We've been working on it for only what, 4?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah,
5?
that's true. That's not too bad.
Oh.
Oh, we got to get on it. Come on.
Cool. So who's next?
Just staring at the.
I was like, I can do mine.
Okay.
It's like I'm noticing just hearing you guys do yours that I don't know. You'll have to tell me. Like I feel like mine needs more dialogue, but so mine is this is the very beginning of the series. So
Awesome.
And was this pretty much the first writing you ever did?
no, I did probably like 11 months ish of fan fiction writing before this, but this is where when I started writing this series, this is where I started.
Well, this is a privilege for us then, so thank you.
So, and I told Dan earlier that like I wrote this originally in October of 2020, and I spent like at least 3 hours today going through and editing it because it needed some love.
3 hours? Oh wow.
So we'll see. We'll see what you guys think. Okay.
The editing part is my favorite part of the whole process, actually. I love the editing, so I get it. I take it that I'm in the minority on that one.
What's wrong with you?
It was just a lot. It was a lot. Okay. Alana never thought things would end like this, that this would be the way she'd die. Or was she actually dead? She honestly couldn't tell if she was dead or just in some sort of holding state that felt like death. The demon that had lived inside her for what felt like years was gone. Of that she was certain. And yet she couldn't feel anything. Everything was quiet here, wherever here was. Peaceful even. It was in these moments, however long they actually lasted, that she regretted not fulfilling her mission, that she wasn't able to see her mother and father again, that she wasn't able to feel the love that had been foretold by Urta. At least if she was dead, it was with her body and mind being at peace and free from the corruption that had been residing inside her. And then there's a break, and I don't know how to read that, so I'm just saying it. The capital city of Rikmana was an idyllic place to live on the island of Atend in the Lavenline Islands. There were trees of all shapes and sizes and colors, and the grass that grew was the loveliest shades of green. Wildflowers grew everywhere, adding to the beauty of the landscape. The homes reflected the colors of the sea, their roofs and windows made of green and blue tinted glass that was almost iridescent in the sunlight. No two houses were alike, each with their own unique whimsy. Even the ruler's home was eccentric with its tall, spindly towers. Behind the whole city, serving as the perfect backdrop to the picturesque scenery, were the Ottawala Falls. As a group, the Ottawala Falls were made up of 16 separate waterfalls, each feeding into the northern parts of the Prilton Sea. Rikmana got its namesake from those who first settled there thousands of years ago, and the firstborn male has always held the title of ruler. The current rulers, Marquess Absalom Rikmana and his wife Rima, have ruled this capital for hundreds of years and were blessed with 5 children, Nasir, Aemon, Alan, Severinia, and Lorelei. Nasir, their heir, was already married, and while they had no children yet, there was still plenty of time given how long elves lived. The siblings were as close as any siblings typically were, though there were two that were practically inseparable. Absalom and Rima didn't know if it was because they were twins or if there were other factors that played into their closeness. Alan and Servinia were more than siblings. They were each other's world. Many of the elves in Rikmana were proud of their pure heritage, and they didn't really like anyone out of the ordinary, meaning anyone except other elves, regardless of their race, were there for too long. They especially didn't want outsiders in their city for any extended period of time, and only barely tolerated those who came to trade goods. This all changed when Absalom, Rima, their children, and their council declared that they would hold a week-long celebration, ending with a ball with neighboring dignitaries. The townspeople got restless at the announcement. Seeing the discomfort of his people, Absalom explained that the celebration of prosperity would not only help their economy and trade with others near them, it would set the stage to build alliances should war ever break out. Nobody wanted war, ever, especially knowing that they didn't have a sufficient army to defend themselves should there actually be a need to do so. After this, most of the chatter quieted down. One of the most important things to Absalom in regards to the celebration was that anyone who was able to visit be treated like family, which was why it was decided that the majority of the dignitaries would stay at the Rikmana Manor, since the home was quite large and 3 of the 5 children had moved out on their own. The remaining dignitaries not hosted at the manor would be staying with the other Rikmana children, Alan, Aemon, and Sevrinia. Aemon was able to host 3 dignitaries and their travel companions, while Alan and Sevrinia were able to host 5. They had a large estate not far from their parents' manor that was near one of the larger falls that only added to its beauty. Once the people of Rikmana understood the importance of the celebration and the reasons behind it, there were many of them who were looking forward to it. There were several families, however, who continued to seethe in the background when the celebration was announced, regardless of any of the factors for it. They had never been ones to break tradition, especially in mingling with other species. These families had no want to interact with humans, dragokin, helkins, gnomes, dwarves, or, gods forbid, half-elves or orcs. They looked down on anyone who wasn't a full-blooded elf, even more so any elf who was the result of an interracial relationship. These individuals continued to work as they always had and vowed to only trade and interact with other elves during the celebration. The townspeople who were excited for the celebration began preparations for all the dignitaries and other guests that would soon be traveling to the city. Those who produced goods for their city were proud of what they could do. Not only were they proud of their abilities, they were extremely talented too, and were looking forward to the opportunities to share these talents with others. Most of the items that the people of Rikmana sold and traded were fine jewelry made of the gems found in the nearby mines and those that were created by the ocean that washed up on the shore. Exquisite leather armor, pouches, and carrying bags, and some of the finest quality weapons in all of the Lavaline Islands. One of the first dignitaries to arrive was King Hans Gruberstein of Sydney Patrick, the ruling seat of the country of Vito. The Grubersteins were human and had always been the head of the monarchy since Vito was founded. King Hans's parents, Hagen and Alandrad, had 10 children, all except 3 that were male. It would seem that tragedy after tragedy happened to the family, as one by one their male heirs died before their 10th birthdays. Until Hans and his younger brother were born. On Hans's 11th birthday, the country celebrated as it seemed the curse of the Grubersteins had been lifted and their heir was alive and healthy. As Hans grew up, he was spoiled by his parents and the whole of Vito. Hans became king when he was 20 years old and his father passed away. and had been king for 5 years when the celebration of prosperity was announced. He was a little taller than the average human male, standing at 6 foot, and having the build and muscles to make him wanted by women wherever he went. His chocolate brown eyes were warm and welcoming, with a hint of mischievousness that seemed to draw in those he courted. And his chin-length wavy brown hair made him look younger than his 25 years. The thing that stood out about King Hans the most, though, was his smile, and he knew it. And he knew all it would take was one smile, and practically any woman he desired would fall for him instantaneously. After receiving the letter from Absalom inviting him to Rikmana, he quickly wrote back and accepted the invitation, citing that since becoming king, he had very few adventures, and this sounded both beneficial for relations as well as the chance to meet new people. King Hans requested to stay outside the main manor too, if that option was still available, though he didn't give a reason why. A response was given to him days before he was set to sail for Rikmana, thanking him for his willingness and exuberance to come, and that he would be staying with 2 of Absalom's children, Alan and Severnia, off of the main manor. When King Hans arrived in Rikmana for the celebration, the first thing he noticed were the waterfalls that spanned the entire length of the city and flowed crystal blue from above into several noticeable pools that then wound their way through the city, spilling into the sea that he had just crossed. The next thing he noticed was the almost playful look of the buildings and homes, so vastly different than those of Sidney Patrick, let alone all of Vito. None of them were the same, though they all had some of the same elements. What must it be like to live here among such beauty, he thought as the ship was pulling into the docks. King Hans was greeted by 2 elves who were dressed in fine clothes bearing the Rikmana seal. There was little small talk, which didn't bother Hans at all. He knew that the staff of the Marquess would be busy, and if he were being honest with himself, some of the looks he was getting were not kind. King Hans was led to the Rikmana Manor for the opening ceremony of the celebration later that evening, while he was assured his belongings would be waiting for him at Alan and Severnia's home. While he waited for the official start of the celebration, he met dignitaries of all species and titles. Among those he talked to were a Helkan king, a gnome advisor to the king and queen of Silvalka who couldn't make it due to a family emergency, a dwarven governor, a Dragakin princess, and many others, including species he had never met before. Even with all of the powerful individuals he was meeting, there was one person who caught his eye above all, and he knew he had to talk to her somehow. She was a beautiful elf, likely high class due to her being at the celebration and the grandness of her clothing. She had the most captivating golden eyes and gorgeous jet black hair that was pulled atop her head with a crown, ringlets falling down, framing her face. The beauty was wearing a stunning deep purple gown with golden gem accents that sparkled under the bright lighting of the room. He wasn't sure how long he had been staring at her when the woman began walking toward him with a man at her side that appeared to be related to her somehow. If he's not, and this man is her lover, I'll simply have to change her mind, he thought, already forming a plan to enact should the need arise. When the pair finally reached King Hans, they both bowed and the man spoke. I hope your journey here was pleasant, King Hans, the man said. My name is Alan Rikmana, and this is my sister Severnia. As I understand it from my father, we have the honor of hosting you at our home this week for the celebration. King Hans bowed back, trying to stifle a huge grin. Excellent, he thought. No plans need be enacted after all. I am very pleased to meet you both, and the honor is all mine. I thank you for opening your home to me during this most joyous occasion. My journey was pleasant, though I am sensing that my time here will be more so. And that's it.
That was
Saucy.
so good. I don't agree. I don't think you need more dialogue.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That was of a scale so much larger than the rest of it. I mean, that was epic to the nth degree.
Yeah, I was going to say the scope and the detail was fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And obviously, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I'll just say I love the bit where you started with her. Is she dead? Is she dying? What is she? And the fact that she had a demon inside her that's not there anymore. What's all that? I'm sorry, huh?
Well, when I was trying to figure out how to start it, I was like, I have no idea. So I kind of started at the end.
Best way to start.
That was a
Best
good
way
hook.
to do it.
Very
Yeah.
good hook.
That was good.
Yeah, and the descriptions. Oh, you're right.
Oh, that was, I mean, a little bit nerve-wracking.
Really? You
It's
did
all
you
right
did it amazingly.
Yeah, you
You
did.
genuinely did
Yeah.
fantastically. And oh my god, we need more now. Sorry, Erica. You
You painted a picture, but it's like this big, and you can tell that the landscape is gigantic.
Yeah.
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 And you can see just the fact that you took so long just to set the stage of the politics, let alone any of the characters, that just adds to that feeling of this is big.
Yeah.
And
I'll
you
add
did it
to
better than
giving
Tolkien.
us sorry, Dan.
No. I'm saying it was less boring than Concerning Hobbits.
Oh, 1,000%. And it's good to give us a character to sort of cling on to at that very beginning, because we're
Yeah.
sort of thinking like, okay, where does she figure into all of this? As you're listening and or reading, as it were. So, solid decision.
And also, when you were describing her, did you tell us her race?
Who?
I
Alana?
forgot. Alana. I didn't. Yeah. Okay.
So we don't
'Cause
know where she figures in.
I don't know. It was just the way that you pointed out how how looked down upon the half elf race was. I'm like, oh, okay. Is that where we're going?
You meet her at the end of the first chapter.
Okay. I was worried it was going to be like halfway through the book.
Yeah.
No.
That's good.
I'm sorry. You wrote this in your first year of writing.
Yeah.
I bow down before you. That was awesome. That was so good.
Thank you. It was most fun for me to like weave in all of the Alan Rickman things, because that's
thank God, that was intentional, was it?
It's like Hans Gruberstein.
Yes. Hans Gruberstein from Sidney Patrick, which Sidney Patrick is Alan Rickman's two middle names.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman played Absalom in The Wizard or in Alice in Wonderland. His wife's name is Rima. Severinia is Severus Snape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear.
And there's
okay.
more. There's more that will come.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
Little Easter egg.
yeah, we started playing that campaign 2 weeks after he died, and I was devastated. And so,
Has he been dead that long?
January of 2016.
No.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So this is like my whole ode to him.
Yeah. I thought it was something like last year, maybe.
No.
Sorry, Amber, I interrupted you. Yeah.
Was I saying something?
You were, and then I carried on talking. Sorry.
I don't know. I do have a hard stop at 2:15, so I may have to skip over today or read and run. So just putting that out there, because I have to walk to go get my spawn.
Okay, well, you go next then.
Will you have enough time?
Oh, I think so. I had two options, both of which are about 1,000 words, and I read fast,
Cool.
which is to my detriment, I suppose. How do I get this out?
But just to sum up, Erica, amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for sharing that with us. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great painting of the details.
There we go. Let's see. Sorry, now I'm all like, so I think I've got, I just have to set where I'm going to read half of this chapter because it's pretty long. There, okay. So this is the opening to my zombie comedy novella, Manny Fuego's Guide to Good Eats. I'm just going to start us off, and hopefully
All right,
I
I
can
need
do
a copy
job
already.
reading it. Chapter 1. Oh, and I'm sorry if I get throaty. A small town in Northern California. If we want to get technical, it started with a potato. Well, a sack of potatoes. Until recently, I was working as a fry cook at my uncle's restaurant. And really, restaurant is a nice term for greasy dive bar burger joint. We were a rambling, sweaty shack of health code violations, but it paid the bills and I didn't finish high school, so it's not like my career outlook is all that great. Plus, necromancy isn't exactly a marketable skill. It's not something you put on your LinkedIn profile. I meant to do more with my life. I really, really did. I was an honor student, always in or at least near the top of my class. I wasn't the kid who won geography Bs, but I did get good grades, and I was at a college reading level before I finished middle school. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to be when I grew up, but I knew I had options. I started cutting class in high school, right when my biology class started us in on dissecting cats. I shit you not, we leapfrogged right over amphibians and went straight to mammals. It was fucking sick. The room smelled like formaldehyde, and we spent an hour a day for 2 months pulling dead cats apart bit by bit. Or we were supposed to. I lasted exactly 5 minutes into one day. Mom was so excited when I told her what happened. The gift often skips a generation, and she was always so disappointed that she couldn't follow in my grandpa's footsteps. I'm not 100% clear on what exactly Pop Pop was up to with his gift, but I'm pretty sure it involved satanic worship. The irony is, Satan's not real. But that didn't stop Pop Pop from taking money from well-meaning Satanists. Karma, which, if we're getting down to brass tacks, is also not a real thing, got him in the end, though. See, being a necromancer, Pop Pop had it in his head that he was going to live forever, in a sense. He set it up so that when he died, his shade would stick around with us in a harmless, inanimate object. Unfortunately, he miscast his spell and ended up in an armchair a few years ago. It's not so bad, I guess, but suffice it to say we don't have company over that often. Anyway, as you can likely guess, I discovered the gift in biology. I'm already fucking squeamish. I had just barely touched the goddamn cat, and it blinked. It lifted its head and looked at me. I was out of there. I ran all the way home with my rubber apron and latex gloves still on. After the incident in bio, I started quietly picking up shifts at Uncle Bernie's burger joint. Mom is home on disability, agoraphobia, so it was easy to hide my activities from her at first. So long as I left with a backpack in the morning and came home in time for dinner, she didn't ask questions. When she finally realized I had dropped out of school, she didn't say anything. I started buying groceries, picking up things we needed around the house, paying rent. I guess we're not very good at having tough conversations. The one good thing about the gift is this odd little talent I discovered a few years ago. Uncle Bernie's place used to operate on a shoestring budget, and so the produce often came to us looking a little worse for wear. But one touch of my profane magic and the potatoes are like new. Mealy tomatoes are vine ripe again. It's actually pretty cool. Over time, we've gotten a pretty good reputation for having the freshest fries in town. Business has picked up, slow but steady. So the other day, Uncle Bernie comes in with 50 pounds of this fancy beef. He's psyched. He got a hot tip that a famous Food Network guy is coming to shoot a little TV spot. Manny goddamn Fuego. I know, we're pumped. I mean, I'm not Manny's biggest fan, but TV! So Uncle Bernie's thinking he can invest in some fancy shit and we'll get a good review. Business gets a boost. You get the idea. It's actually my fault things went wrong. I tipped the breaker, and the fridge lost power last night. I didn't think it would be a big deal to give the beef a little boost. I'd never tried my powers on meat before, but what's the harm, right? I mean, one minute it smelled like shit, the next it's fresh as, well, not a daisy, but you get the idea. Things went pretty great at first. Manny Fuego swaggers in at high noon, his bleach spikes glistening in the neon lights. He causes a scene with his camera crew, does an interview with Uncle Bernie, and raves into the camera about the fresh, fancy beef and tasty potatoes. I could hear them in the back as I freshened up the other potatoes. Sadly, even the expensive new produce still gives us a bruiser. The expensive new produce people still give us a bruiser here and there. Still, there's something fun about wiping the brown spots out, watching the ugliness melt out of them. I know it's just potatoes, but there's something kind of poetic about it. I didn't go out to meet Manny myself. I prefer to stay in the back and work, and I'm kind of relieved when the crew packs up their bus and rolls away. Manny takes the bustle and excitement with him, and people start to file out of our little burger joint as the celebrity glow rapidly fades from our corner of town. Anyway, I noticed something was off about 2 hours after Uncle Bernie's lunch break. He eats a burger every day, and it shows. In a bad way. He's got a gut, and his health is just bad. But today, Uncle Bernie's signature wheeze was, well, it's more like a groan. I went to the back room to check on him, and look, I know this sounds insane, but he's dead. Or rather, undead. Necromancers have a long, proud history of raising the dead and tampering with the afterlife for a whole host of reasons. I can definitively say that I am the first to cause this particular effect via tainted hamburgers. So, I know zombie lore, and I get that I'm supposed to, shed a tear and off Bernie with a blunt object. But I can't. I don't like death, or blood, any of it. Moreover, I have a soft spot for the old guy, so I lock him in the back room and leave a note should anyone think to go fiddling with closed doors while I'm away. I flip the close sign as I bolt out of the diner and gun the engine on my Dodge Colt so fast I almost kill the old girl. And that's where I'm leaving off for the day. You'll have to stay tuned for the rest.
That was so good. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Well, thanks. This was my NaNoWriMo write for 2017 that I'm getting ready to put out for read and purchase by the end of the year. Oh, thanks, Tinnitus.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, sure, I should be putting those up. Yeah. That was
fun.
so good.
Yes. Hilarious. Oh my god.
I got all nervous. I was really like, woo.
You genuinely couldn't tell. Well, again, everybody says they've been nervous, but everybody's just like, yeah, whatever, I'm fine.
Your body just goes like,
Yeah.
So how long is it all in?
It's about 30,000 words. I was trying to get to 50 for Nano, but the story just kind of concluded itself around 30. So
that'll be about 100 pages then.
The unpublishable length.
That's why I'm gonna just put it out myself as a novella. As
Yep.
It's probably like a 5-hour read, and it would just be fun for people to pick up a little copy, and they'll probably be on sale for like $2.99 on Kindle or something, like real basic.
I don't typically like zombie stuff of any variety, and I'll read that.
Too right, yeah.
I will tell you, the zombie stuff kind of is backdrop for the story about Bradley, our as yet unnamed character, and his dysfunctional family, as we'll see going along. So it's like, I don't know. It started out with just this idea of like this inept necromancer, and then it transformed itself into the story about this family as I wrote along, and I was like, oh, this is rad. So thank you. Yeah, I like zombies sometimes, but it ended up just being sort of like I said, the stage.
Just the idea of a haunted chair tickles me.
Oh, pop. I will tell you that
about the
he
chair being
back.
haunted, more about the chair wrapping around other people too intimately.
Wrapping around other people?
Like armchair line.
You want him to like eat people?
Or hug them.
Yeah.
Or hug them, give them a little cuddle. Oh, Dan, I hate to run to miss your. I'll have to catch it on the restream, but
You can do it next week.
thanks.
That's fine.
Or what? But I gotta hop up and put my running shoes on and sprint away. So I'm gonna leave and let you guys wrap it up. But thanks for all your wonderful stories, and I can't wait to hear more about all of them. So
100%. Yeah. Likewise with you.
get to work, each of you, now.
Will do.
All right. Happy Monday, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, lovely, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was great. Oh my gosh, so creative. Gary, did you need to pop off too?
I do. My wife is saying that I gotta get going.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, fantastic. No, because you weren't sure if you were going to make it. So
Yeah. Thanks for reading your story.
Yes.
Keep going.
see you later, chap. Have a good one.
Right.
And then there were 3.
Number 3.
Okay. Cool. So I feel weird. See, that feels weird all of a sudden. I was geared up. It's like, okay, yeah, I can read. Now 2 of them come. Like, oh, it feels weird not doing it with everybody.
Well, I think if you want, we could wait till we're all back together.
But at the same time, that would be chickening out. It's like, oh yeah, no, I don't need to. Yeah.
No, I don't know that it's chickening out because
I don't know. I just feel. I feel bad doing it without.
Yeah, I say we wait. Let's wait till we're all together again. It'll kind of break it up a little bit too. So I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I do like hearing everyone like their storytelling style. Like I think that is so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean Gary's story, because for me, Gary, because again, I've known Gary for a long time. I hadn't heard that story. That's the first time I've heard, and that was so him. Yeah, I mean, Eric, obviously you're new to the group, but that if there was any story that was Gary, that was it.
That was some of Gary.
Yeah,
I love it. Just the characters and the comedy.
Yeah.
And how it's like this dark setting, but he puts light on it. It's just great.
And yeah, Jen, and I that story I really have a soft spot for, because you can feel the confidence from you in that one, because you were really nervous about that before when you were doing it, and the fact that you found yourself.
I'm still nervous, but it feels a little better. Yeah.
And yeah, Erica, that we need more. Sorry, that's just you've got more.
Yeah, because you set up this whole world and then you introduce people and then we're done. It's like, wait, we need more.
Oh.
Yeah.
So how are you both after that then? Because you both said that you found that a bit. Now that you've done it and other people have done it as well, are you both feeling a little less or not?
I think it's the more like reading it, for me, reading it out loud. Like I don't mind other people reading my stuff.
Right.
I mean, like writing fan fiction, one of my favorite comments to ever get was, I hate that fucking bitch so much. Like, or this scene, I cried at this scene. Like, I love that. I love getting feedback on my stuff. It was more just me reading it out loud, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Being vulnerable.
Yeah, whilst it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But there's such a sweeping, epic scale to that story. I mean, I considering you've written, what on earth is happening to my ability to speak? Maybe it's a good thing I'm not doing it tonight.
It's late where you are.
Well, I wouldn't have. I'm giving a presentation at 11:15 my time to a bunch of students in, is it California?
Oh, wow.
On the Pacific coast, anyway. So, but yeah, the fact that you've got 450,000 word, Jesus, Daniel, what is going on? Implies that the journey is going to be quite long.
Yeah, it is. And one of the things that like, and I don't know, I love learning about other people's writing processes, because like for me, I really struggle. Also, part of my hesitation or my nervousness is I struggle to describe things unless I can have a picture of them. I have to find a picture of what I'm thinking of, and then I can describe it. Like I really struggle to describe it, but once I find it, I'm like, that's it. That's exactly what I wanted. And then I can describe it. It's not a problem.
That's cool. Because what was that place then? Because the picture you painted was amazing, with some like 16 waterfalls, wasn't it, all flowing into one? I was like, ugh.
Yeah, so like I just looked up And so I have files and files and files of reference photos.
That's awesome. I'm kind of the same way. Like you said, I have to look at something. Once I look at it, even if it's just once, then I'm okay. But just to get that imagery going, and then it starts to flow. So I can relate to that.
Yeah. Well, and so my friend and I, we do trainings on D&D and like how to use that in play therapy, play therapy specifically. And we talk about like when we're talking about limitations of using D&D, we talk about aphantasia, which is not having a mind's eye. And from what I understand about it, the little bit that I've researched, like there's a spectrum. And so like, I'm wondering if I'm somewhere on that spectrum of where I can know that it's something, and it's not until I see it that I know that that's what I want. It's very weird. It's interesting. And so like describing scenes and, you know, homes and scenery and all of that, even people to an extent, like I have to find a picture. And so it takes me a little bit longer to write those type of things than it does just like the interactions.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that.
Yeah.
But I love it. I enjoy the research and looking.
Yeah, that's fun. It's always fun.
And again, that really did come across in the writing. Just, I think it was a couple of days ago. I think we were talking about it. I think you said something about enjoying the story that you were telling, and somebody said that would show in the written word, and there was just a joy in your reading, and I would genuinely beg you not to worry about any lack of dialogue there, because for a story like this, you don't want to start with dialogue. Dialogue is, yeah.
Yeah, and as I was reading through it, I was thinking like, yeah, no, it would be too clunky because it doesn't matter. Like the dialogue in that beginning part doesn't matter. Like I'm getting to where I got to. Like that was where I was. That's the important little connection.
Yeah.
And was that the first session you played?
No. So this was all stuff I made up.
Oh.
So
Okay.
the first, now I can look. The first 6 chapters, I 100% made up.
Wow.
So that must have been a bit of a jerk to the writing process then, surely, when you got to the... Oh, wow.
Because then the rest is based on what happens with the D&D, with the game. Okay.
You just got to do what you're told.
Until the last book, where I will. So we had like a stopping point, and we could have gone like played side stories and stuff, but it was none of us, that didn't feel right to us. So like I had to completely make up her, basically her happily ever after, like what happened after the end, which ended up being like, I outlined it because we presented it to our group, and I want to say it was like 16 pages long outline of all of the things that she needed, all the loose ends she needed to tie up, and how life was for her after.
Because just to go slightly into the RPG therapy side of things, yeah, because I always, whenever I'm doing it with clients, I always say, okay, we're coming to the end of our time together, let's give your character an epilogue, let's just take some time to see what happens after. And
Yeah, and that's what we did. We all got to tell our happily ever after stories.
it's not
which-
always happily ever after, especially with the boys. It usually ends up quite messily.
Well, a little bit of a insight, I guess. Alana lives forever.
Mm.
I'm not going to tell you how, though.
Well, she doesn't die, so there you go.
I didn't say that.
Oh.
I adore you, Erica. Why have you only just come into my life now?
But it's cool. I think that would, I don't know. I know we've talked a little bit about like our writing processes and stuff, but I think that would be a really cool discussion to have, just like, as far as, we talked like super surface, like I'm a panster versus a plans, like,
Yeah.
okay, but what does that mean for you? How does that whole journey go? And then anyone who's like in the chat can chime in. I just think that would be cool because I just think that's so fascinating. And then like I learn things from other people. I was like, okay, what can I take from you? And and like mold into my
Was Alana
process.
a thief by any chance?
Do what?
Was Alana a thief by any chance?
No, not that. Not what I can.
I know.
No, I mean, why not? We should
Yeah.
learn from each other, and that's
That's
what
the whole point of this kind of
community-
group.
yeah, is
I
to
mean,
help each other out, because it is a very solitary thing that we do. So when we can come together and talk and support each other, that's huge. So yeah.
How have you found? I mean, I know this can be a conversation we can have off air if you'd prefer, but how have you found this, Erica? Because obviously we are a bunch of complete strangers, one of whom is some random man on the internet who just said, "Hi, I know everything about you because I've listened to your training and we've been friends on Facebook for ages and we don't know each other, but hi." And is this your fourth now? Third, fourth? Fourth.
Third. Jane, I love your nail color. Sorry that I just got distracted. I got distracted. I was like, "Oh, pretty."
I'll just leave you two to it.
So I am, which is kind of interesting. Like, I don't know, to think about for me. Like, I'm pretty introverted, except for with people I connect to. So in the 90s, there was this song by Blind Melon called No Rain. And in it, there's a little girl who goes to school, like maybe kindergarten, first grade, and she's dressed up like a bee. And nobody in her school is like her. So she leaves school and she's like, going through this city and nobody's like her. And at the end of the song, the video opens up into this field where there are a bunch of people in bee costumes. And so like she found her bee people. So like I have a bee tattooed on me to symbolize like finding my bee people.
Yeah.
All of that to say, this has been amazing because like y'all are now included in my bee people.
Oh, thank you.
What was the name of it? No
like
Rain.
When I can connect with people who, number one, can like lift me up, but also like there's something there that's not just surface. Like, so that more than anything has been awesome for me.
I'm so glad to hear that.
So yeah, thank you for.
And I would have never. You said you're introverted, but I can't tell that from here. But maybe it's because you feel comfortable. So
with my bee people, like you get all of it unmasked.
I've been called lots of things in my time. Never a bee person.
It's a good thing.
I'll take that. I'll take your word for it. Hey, Autumn Aesthetic. I'm behind. I'm trying to get to 10K today. I can't help you with that because it's 10:30 where I am, and I've got a presentation to give in half an hour.
Where am I at? I am at.
Get to 10K. I'm at 7. So you're close to 10K. So, I mean, I don't know what time zone you're in, but I mean, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially if you sit down with Erica or Amber, just for an hour, you're absolutely solid.
Yes.
On that note, I mean, if you would like to go back and listen to some of the stuff that our members have been working on, this has been an evening of readings, out of which I have snuck.
Next time.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, normally we do sprints.
Writing sprints.
Every time we're on here, and I'm sure we'll get back on track tomorrow. So hopefully you can join us tomorrow or.
You're in my time zone.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Awesome.
So see, there's still time left in the day to get to 10,000. You can do it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. My husband, daughter, and I are gonna do some sprints later tonight after supper.
Very nice.
I love that you have that to do that as a family. See, my son is just not interested in that, and my wife, yeah.
My son has secretly been writing in a notebook because he watched our stream the other day and he shared it a little bit with me today, his story, and I was like,
Rylan, son, I love you so much. You can join
amazing.
He's 15, so
you just God.
Deep Punk. Oh my god, I have to know more. Dystopian sci-fi romance. Oh,
yes.
I'm hooked.
No, that's not fair. Why do you say that in just those words? Why is there not an entire paragraph afterwards saying what it is?
That sounds amazing, Autumn.
Yeah.
On this account. Sorry, I don't
Maybe
understand.
You can get the restreams, the recordings.
Oh, yeah. So you can go to Twitch, or if you're on YouTube, watch it on YouTube. Just go back to the beginning. And Gary read the beginning of his Nano story about a bunch of fantasy archaeologists. Jen read a snippet of an anthology story about a witch facing a nymph who's been casting unnecessary magic. Erica introduced us to this world of just epic high fantasy, and I have questions. I have so many questions. And Amber read a fantastic, hilarious snippet. It was just
zombie story,
a zombie comedy story.
Networks.
Yeah, about bringing things back to life by accident.
Oh, we have a plot. She wants to rescue things that are old and make them new again. The main character, a demon, is a human who wants to be healer, and humanoids she collects mechanical. Wow.
I love that.
So creative.
So good.
Old.
The king makes an evil. Tries to take down. I love the name.
Yeah.
Macklin the King.
Oh my goodness, you're coming out now, aren't you?
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Controlled by the antagonist. Who's making the good humanoids do bad things that they don't do? She makes an evil robot army. Wow.
You had me at evil robot army.
The humanoids send messages through voices in her head. There's a new town where the main character meets an evil town that is a hidden town.
Wow.
This is
so fun.
That is, I mean, yes, frankly, you need to write the rest of the 50,000 words today as well as tomorrow.
Need to finish it. Go strong.
So how far into the story are you? So you've said you've written 7,500, just under. Is the story likely to go up to 50K, or is it reaching its own conclusion? Oh, sorry, getting too old for this shit. Yeah, that sounds so good. I mean, yeah, robot army. Who doesn't want a robot army? And the romance, yeah,
that's right. There's mentioned romance. So fun. All the things rolled into one.
Yeah.
Well, I do need to pop off. My son has hockey practice tonight, so
Cool.
And, like different names: Astrid, Somber, Lucid, and the brother is Bramble. I love
That
that
is
name, Bramble.
fantastic.
I like how they're different.
Yeah, but they all feel like they belong to each other. That's just
Yeah, they do.
yeah.
There's always romance in my book. Me too. Having a little romance or a lot of romance.
Well, Autumn, just so you know, because alas, you've called us towards the end of the stream, so we are going to call it a day. I'm sorry, but your son, the writer. So yes, her son, the writer, has got hockey practice. So he's a writer in his private time, and he beats the crap out of people in his public time.
He doesn't. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it gets more. There's a little bit of beating going on, but yeah.
There was a oh no, I'll talk about it.
I'll have to tell him.
Yeah, that's what my daughter's doing.
Okay. Is it a separate website or is it all the same?
So it's a different website. If you just look up Young Writers Nano, and they get to set their own word count, so it's not the 50,000.
Oh yeah.
Oh geez, I should be doing that.
Yeah, I think. And with that one, which I didn't know about until my daughter was doing it, you can actually write like in the Nano site.
Oh.
Huh.
And like and so it will do your word counts for you and log it into the system.
Okay.
See, it surprised me that the main Nano site still doesn't do that. But you know, that's a thing. Cool, but
Autumn, I'll have to pass that on to my son. So thank you for bringing that up.
yeah, thank you, and thank you so much for sharing. We need more. So if you'd like to join us tomorrow, we will be. So you're
3 o'clock
Central Time, so 3 o'clock your time.
4 o'clock.
We'll be doing writing sprints, discussions about writing processes from the sounds of it, and favorite books and stuff, and updates on Lauren's writing. Yeah.
I'll let you know. Thank you.
Cool. So, everybody, do we have any websites that people want to shout out or signpost to?
Jane's Dreamy Bookshelf on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. Thank you for the follow, Autumn.
Yes.
Erica?
It's like I followed on YouTube yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
Or subscribed, I guess that's what it's. I'm not super technological. So.
That's okay.
Fine. Erica, how about yourself? Do you have websites to be signposted to?
Yep. EricaWalkerTherapy.com, and that will get you all the things.
All the things, and all the things is what we want from Erica. And I am on YouTube at the RPG Therapist, or you can find me at monomythcounselling.co.uk, where you can sign up for my newsletter, get a free adventure pack to go with your copy of Role-Playing Games and Psychotherapy, a Practitioner's Guide. Yay. I feel like such a whore. And on that note, have a good evening all. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for
and
joining.
We'll see you tomorrow.
See you later, Autumn.
Bye-bye.